the potential to actually increase the flow rate using horizontal and stimulation is very considerable.
A particular concern about this operation is that the industry and the government are telling people that it is a conventional operation, that it's not fracking. The government has changed the legal definition of fracking in the Infrastructure Act. It now says that if it's more than 1,000 cubic metres of fluid in one go, or more than 10,000 cubic metres of fluid altogether, then it constitutes associated hydraulic fracturing. If it's 999 or 9,999, it doesn't. Which means that they can say they're not fracking. This company, UK Oil and Gas, Stephen Sanderson, has been speaking a lot on the media, saying we're not fracking, we have no intention of fracking.
Clearly, these sort of rates are, yes, if you can sustain them, then they clearly are commercially viable. Of course, commerciality always depends on how much money you make, and clearly the oil price is very significant. Generally speaking, these types of wells do decline, i.e., you know, the flow that you see at the start of the year when you put the well on, compared to the flow at the end of that year, can decline by 60 or 70% or so. We don't know that, of course, at this moment in time. It might be much better, but that's a sort of general aspect. So generally you have to drill a lot of wells close to each other so you can maintain a certain level of production. We basically only have so many days left on our existing planning permission to test the well. So to come back to the well, we have to go back to the local planning authority to basically have another planning permission for an extended well test. We'll also put in there a horizontal well. We'll flow that for quite a long period of time. We may even put together some sort of phased incremental development steps as well. So if one works, we don't have to wait for another permission. We can just go straight forward and do this. The biggest issue we have, and in fact the whole of the industry has in the UK onshore, is the time it takes to get permissions to do anything. It's not just the local planning authority. There are 4 government organisations that we have to get permits for. So it's the local planning authority, the Environment Agency, Health and Safety Executive, and then the Oil and Gas Authority. Now, that's quite a bureaucratic challenge, and it takes way too long. Hopefully we're meeting with the government fairly shortly in the coming weeks on a quite a high level to see if we can try and fast track this process.
Why is the government and the industry apparently colluding in altering definitions and creating some kind of smokescreen of, it's all right, it's a conventional operation, we're just going to drill down a little way and pull the oil out? It isn't a conventional operation. We know they've got permission to use diesel underground. We know they've got non-site specific permits to truck hydrofluoric acid anywhere in the country. It's a highly caustic substance. How do we know when the government changes the legislation and changes the definitions in ways that aren't logical, because the pressure is as significant as the volume? How do we know what's really going on? This new definition of hydraulic fracturing means that the operation that happened at Preesall Farm in Lancashire in the spring of 2011, which they have admitted triggered 2 significant seismic events, wasn't technically a frack.